Well, for more on Snap's first quarter results and growth outlook, I'm joined by Scott Schober, President and CEO of Berkeley Varitronics Systems. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Now, a lot of people are looking at what's happening and they're wondering what went wrong for Snapchat. What's your reaction to the call?
Well, certainly it was disappointing, as was mentioned there, and really across the board. And I think the problem is they've got fierce competitors. When you look at something like Facebook, Facebook's got 1.2 billion active daily users there. That's tough to compete with. And when you got Instagram with 700 million active daily users and really kind of copying the same format that's used with Snap there, where they've got about 200 million users that are using stories, a similar feature, it's tough to compete with that because both Facebook and Instagram, which are both Facebook, are really effectively monetizing that with ads. And Snap has not been able to do that. In fact, their revenue per user's dropped from about $1.05 per user down to about 90 cents per user. So that's concerning. Even if they do grow the physical number of users, which is good, they really got to take that to scale sooner. So the prospect where shareholders will see a profit may be more like a year or more likely 2 years down the road if they can really increase their subscriber base.
Now, you mentioned monetizing and obviously increasing user growth, obviously always a key challenge when it comes to these social media platforms. So how does Snapchat's relationship with advertisers, how is that helping things?
Well, what's really good there, and I think what must be highlighted, the sweet spot, as they say, for Snap is really their user base. They do have some unique demographics there, and that's what really shines, and I think that's where they can actually get some advertiser dollars there going forth as they go to scale. 35% of Snap's users are not using Facebook. 46% of Snap's users are not on Instagram, and that does hold to some value there. If you think about it, it's kind of the tweens there, the younger age, that 10-year-old up to the 25, 30-year-old. That's a sweet spot. Facebook and Instagram do not have those same customers, and they need those younger customers desperately so they could really target them with ads. And they have good retention rates for the younger customers, Snap. I even asked my daughter, who's 12 years old, about Snap. I said, do you use it? She goes, every day, Daddy. Everyone in school uses it, yet none of them use Facebook. I say, why? And she said, well, that's for old people. So it helps you to appreciate. It's a younger generation that appreciates and uses Snap. Right. I may not get it, or some older users might not, but certainly the younger ones do. And that's where ad dollars will be targeted.
And their users certainly are loyal. So then in terms of expansion, geographically and also beyond social media, where does Snapchat go from here?
Well, they've had a couple snafus, as many have heard in the past. They're mentioning some things from the CEO and others with different countries such as Spain and India, where they said they were trying to target more wealthy countries, which is certainly a mistake, and maybe that was a misquote or they misspoke there. But they're concentrating right now on the 10 wealthiest countries to grow revenue and target ad dollars. But globally, they got to certainly reach out beyond that and attract more users, and especially grow that younger audience where they have that niche market to grow ad space.
Now, as John mentioned there, the stock price dropped by just over 20% at one point in Wednesday's trading, bringing it close to its IPO price. Now, given the future potential for Snap that people seem to still have an optimism for, is it still worth investing, though, based on hopes that things will turn around?
Sure, they have to certainly execute well, but contrast that, maybe go back a few years ago, look at maybe Twitter. If we look at Twitter, when they went IPO, terrible. Their stock plummeted. They never really recovered. Now contrast that with Facebook. Again, after they went IPO, their stock went down. But since then, it's quadrupled in price. So if you bought Facebook, you're doing really well. Twitter, you're not doing so well. So you have to really look carefully at the business model and where they're going to project that to take it to scale. I think Snap has to work really hard if they ever want to compete head-to-head with Facebook, because they're doing a lot of things right, and they have a huge, dominating customer base right now.
Now, we know that the CEO was saying he was taking a long-term view. So what does Snapchat need to do to really shore up that confidence that it's here to stay and not going to vanish like one of its snaps?
Yeah, I think they do have to start partnering and doing more strategic things. Like there's some mention there of they're working and partnering with Tribeca, these short films and videos. That's attracting a lot of attention. and that will certainly grow the brand and attract a new audience there. They've done some deals with Pepsi-Cola and other companies, strategic deals that, again, will not just bring attention to the company, but it will allow it to attract higher ad dollars to that niche targeted younger market that they need so desperately. So they got to look forward. How can they make more deals like that to really take the company to scale?
We'll certainly have to see how that plays out. Thank you so much, Scott Schober, President and CEO of Berkeley Varitronics Systems.